Brace yourself, boys. You're going to want this one too. In fact, I predict every nod that I review from this point forward, you're going to want to add to your system. There, I said it. You will. I'm testing like 5 different devices now. Every single one of them is awesome. Now, maybe some downsides crop up in the testing. I'll bring that to tabletop if and when it happens. But so far, damn, amazing capabilities. And at this point, dudes, seriously, if you don't have a thermal imaging monocular in your system, you're behind. And I'm talking like a very high quality one. Taipan or greater quality. Taipan also being from AGM Global. I reviewed that some months ago. Go watch that review. I stand by it. Amazing value for the money. Think of this one, the Sidewinder, same company, as an upgraded version of the Taipan. More capabilities, better resolution, wider field of view. Basically the same, but I'm talking about in form factor, how it works, but more capabilities. I'm going to overlay immediately the video I've taken from both of these units, and I have 2 units that I've tested for this tabletop. I have a 384 Sidewinder, and that is a 25 millimeter objective. And then I have a TM35 640, a 35 millimeter objective Sidewinder. And on that one, I'll just say again, damn. And I have deer footage to show you, and I have humanoid footage to show you. I spent way too much time testing this. And I will say, and don't expect me to show some like voyeur, inappropriate humanoid footage. I could have easily got that. I really could have. Weird stuff like people having sex in a park. I'm not going to post that in a review. I'm not, nor do I seek it out. But I'll tell you what, this can see everything. I'm talking the 640 version. The 384 isn't too far behind. These are more expensive. I know. You get what you pay for. They're going to be substantially more expensive than the Taipan that I reviewed. But again, firepower versus mobility, capabilities. Now, I often make the mistake when I make videos like this that I'm focused on my audience. I call them TMPers. Thank you very much, dudes. Really appreciate you subscribing, hitting the notification bell, especially to you donors. Double thumbs up. But I forget that I have guys just searching out a review on the device and they pop in the video. So my name's Nutnfancy. I've been doing this for a long time. You can trust my voice. If I say it's good, I truly believe it's good. I'm not the end-all voice, but you can trust me. These things are amazing, the Sidewinders. Let me make your job really easy on this visitor. So he's probably like, okay, cool. When do I get to the information on the device? Right now. I'm going to read you the system description from the manual. Yes, I'm going to read from the manual. But you'll be looking at cool imagery, so it doesn't really matter. It's so well written. It says the basics. I could really end the video after reading this with a short opinion. Here we go. The Sidewinder handheld thermal observational monocular is equipped with a 384 by 288 or 640 by 512 infrared detector and a 1024 by 768 OLED display with improved color rendering. The high sensitivity built-in thermal detector provides you with a clear view even in total darkness. The monocular is ideally suited to scenarios such as patrolling, law enforcement, search and rescue. They didn't put Peeping Tom in there, but they probably should have. Drug enforcement, anti-smuggling. I'm going to put this one in. Perimeter security. That's from me, Nutnfancy. And criminal search and seizure. End of paragraph. There's your description from the company. Well done, AGM, by the way. It says most of the stuff you need to know. Thanks for showing up to the video. Buy it. I have links below taking you to Pro2A Optics Planet. Let me know if I'm wrong on this thing. Appreciate you guys. What, you're still here? You're still here? Okay, Nutnfancy, that's really funny. We know you have a lot more to say on this thing. You're right, I do. Well, I really could end it there, because the difference between these two variations of the Sidewinder, were discussed there. It's basically a difference in resolution. And let's discuss that right now. Oftentimes when a guy comes to a nod, and I'm not a big fan of that term, it's night observation device, comes from the military. I just prefer to say NV, night vision equipment. That's just me. But when a guy comes to NV, he's confused and he sees wildly different prices. Let's say even on a Sidewinder. So it has, it comes in different objective sizes, different resolutions. And maybe he's comparing against the lower resolution Taipan, for instance, and he doesn't really know what to make of it. If you want to keep it simple, and I'm talking really, really, really simple, buy the most expensive one you can afford. How's that for simplicity? You won't regret it, especially in the AGM line. I mean, I'm really learning the AGM line, and it seems like they're out to pretty much own the NV market. That's how I see it. Their value is high. Their quality levels are superb. The construction is superb. They don't break. I dropped this 384 one on the friggin' concrete from 3 feet up, and it just turned right back on. No problem. IPX67 waterproofness, rubberized, built well. I'm becoming a believer in the brand. Buy the most expensive one you could afford. You'll be glad you did. Now, do you have to do that? Let's go back to POU. Philosophy of use is what I call it here in the project. How are you going to use such a device? I threw in that description, and I'm glad I did, perimeter security. Again, and I want to talk to my audience members here. If you guys do not have, you should have night vision devices in your inventory, like a PVS-7, PVS-14. I've reviewed both of those systems, but I'm really leaning more towards thermal imaging because of its capabilities. If you don't have a thermal imaging monocular, just for all-around observation and security detection, you're behind. You're behind. When you start using such a device, either the Taipan or the Sidewinder, again, you're going to go, damn. You're going to see below comments of dudes that purchased a Sidewinder, same company, more inexpensive piece. I'll have a link to I'm sorry, I said Sidewinder, I meant Taipan. The Taipan below, and they'll say that. They're like, oh yeah, I started using my Taipan. It is incredible. It's exactly as Nutnfancy said. These are even more capable. Again, to keep it super duper simple, buy the most expensive one you can. Or, let me vary that a little bit. If you need multiple items, get multiples of the 384. Honestly, I think for most of you guys, a 384 would be sufficient. You would be good to go. Now, remember what the intro said. It talked about the resolution, and that is a thing. So this means how much detail can I discern from the NV device? When I look through this at distance, so let's say I see a dude in a field. He's 300 meters away. I look at him with a 384 Sidewinder. I can instantly tell it's a dude. And I'm not saying bad guy. It's just we're looking at some guy. We're just wondering who's over there. Maybe it's on our private property. We're just using it for security, for maintaining security. He has something in his hands. We don't know what it is. You may or may not be able to discern it with a 384. Definitely a 284 you would not be able to. With a 640 level resolution, I would say you probably would be able to tell. Now keep in mind, these do not have optical zoom capabilities. So even though all of these have I'm talking these two variations, they have 2 power, 4 power, 8 power, and 16 power. Those are digital zooming variations. That's all you're doing. You're just zooming in on a digital pixel. Now, if you go with a TM35, that is a 35 millimeter 384, it will have 3, 6, 12, and 24. Or if you go with a 50 millimeter objective 640, I'm sorry if this is confusing, but I got to cover it. It will have 2.5, 5, 10, and 20 power. Is that useful? I would say in 4 power, it's very useful. These are both defaulting to 2 power, these two variations. I would say most of your observation will be at 2 power. because that's going to give you your widest field of view so you can observe what the heck is going on in that dark space. And that's what these are for. These are observation monoculars. Who's over there? What are they doing? And maybe in some situations, especially without rule of law, as I call it, are they a threat to me, my family, my friends, my property? Could be. The higher resolution, the better. 640, you're going to see the detail that perhaps you would miss with a 384. Okay, also advantage 640, and this is something I recently learned, and I'm not the end-all expert with nods. I'm learning, and I'm much better than I used to be. When you go with a 640 resolution, you're going to get a wider field of view angle. 8.7 to 7 degrees with this one. With a 384, it's more narrow. 7.5 to 5.6 degrees, if I'm representing that correctly. Now, you may detect that in my overlay video, and I really don't know how I'll do the video because I do want to show you the devices we talk about, the buttons, the user interface, and I'm going to try to go quick on that stuff. What I might have to do is like abruptly cut the video, and then we go in field, and I show you these devices, a Sidewinders in action, a 384, 640. I'll do my best at labeling them so you can tell. Okay, and you will be impressed. If you're not, something's wrong with you. Both of these are 12 micron units, and that's why they're more small, more compact. I have also learned that one of the big expenses when they put these devices together is the material they use to make the objective out of. This is a 25 millimeter objective. This is a 35 millimeter as represented in TM35. I should have a dash 640 there. The more material they use, the more expensive it will be. Also, something I want to correct in my night vision equipment reviews, since you guys rubbed the lamp and the genie is out in full force, is I was incorrect in saying the prices have not really gone down. I think I said that in the PVS 7 review. I'm wrong. At least in thermal imaging devices. Thermal imaging devices, like I would ballpark like 20 years ago, could cost upwards of $20,000. And they would not even have nearly the capabilities of these, what I consider to be very tiny 1 pound units. Well, not tiny, but they're not like FLIR breach tiny. Go watch my FLIR breach review, by the way. They're not that small, but they're way smaller than a lot of the earlier generations. The 12 micron units, they figured it out with the firmware, the software, the image sensors on it. I'm super duper impressed. Both of these, by the way, are powered by a rechargeable 18650 battery. You'll see right here, it includes two. Again, kudos to AGM Global for doing that. A charger as well is included. I find these have a really good burn time. Maybe not the 7 hours that AGM Global says they will do. Maybe not quite that. But I've got, 5 hours of use on this thing with no problem. Yeah, and I don't care if you're talking about a 384 or 640. Again, I tested them for hours and hours, and granted, in temperate conditions. I got to be honest. It wasn't like 20 degrees or 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside with snow. I've always said if you're doing that, you can basically cut your battery life in half. The upside to these is they do have a USB-C connection right here. You can actually connect it, your computer actually right here, and also an external battery. And you could run the device off that if you wanted to. So that is a huge plus. And both of these devices have onboard video recording and still image capabilities, 64 megabyte storage. Well done, AGM, once again. Go watch my Burris thermal scope review, the BTS review, and I kind of rail on Burris because they didn't include that. I'm like, how can you have a night vision thermal scope in that review and you don't have onboard recording? It's insane. And this actually has audio capability as well. You have to turn it on in the menu system. Yeah, I love they used an 18650 battery too. So it's not an internal battery that will deplete and then you have to charge it up. Kind of like that ATN 4K Thor scope that I reviewed. Oh my gosh, I've done some night vision equipment reviews to this point, haven't I? Yeah, it's kind of fun. Genie still has a lot more work to do. Let's start with the UI, user interface. I'm going to start at this end. Here's your objective cover. This is the push button. You just flip it up like that. That kind of confused me for a bit. I was like, do I like peel this up right here? And I'm like trying to get, no, this button right here. And this will rotate here. All cool. Here's your focus ring. And this is how you're going to focus your image. Well done, AGM. Super grippy, easy to find. And here's your buttons. Now, when I talk about the functions, without you having the device in your hand, I don't want to make this too lengthy. I don't want to make it confusing or dumb. I want to make it simple and easy to remember. I will attempt to do that, but it is a very technical piece of equipment that I'm reviewing. There are guys that want those technicalities explained. I'll just kind of strike a middle ground. Sorry if I miss something or get something wrong. I do know this. This is your power button. Okay, this is your take a photo or start the video function. So to start a video, I press and hold this. To take a picture, I just press it briefly. This is your menu function. You press and hold it to access all your menu functions, of which I will breeze through somewhere in the review. And this is your zoom button. So you're going to access your digital zoom functions here. Now, one thing I love about AGM is that their UI is pretty standard across all their devices. So this is the same we saw in the Taipan, I believe. It's going to be the same in their excellent Rattler thermal scopes. Watch for my review on those. Very simple. Maybe a downside of this one button zoom thing is you have to cycle through all your zoom ranges to get back to 2 power. Not a big deal, but you'll see me in video, the overlay video, when I'm either, I don't know, filming humans or filming the deer, that I'll go 2, 4, 8, 16, and then back to usually 2. 2 power, giving your widest field of view. So those are your buttons. One thing I think AGM could improve on is maybe changing the feel of the buttons. So maybe raising this more so you can tell. I mean, you got 2 gates right here to tell it's a power button, but sometimes I have gloves on, it's hard to tell. I would like them to be even more tactile and different. And I would like to have a different color on this one. I will say I love that this glows red. So at night, you'll see this is on, glowing red. And there is an auto off function in the menu. I recommend you do turn that on, probably setting it to 30 minutes just in case you forget to turn it off. Okay, now if you're using it for a lengthy period of time, like patrols of some sort, perimeter security, turn auto off. Off. Pro tip from Nutnfancy. Here's your eye focus, your diopter right here, your eyepiece focus. Technically the diopter adjustment ring, and then we have just a rubber cup right here, and then your eyepiece. And that is basically it. Oh yeah, a way to screw it into a tripod. I think the form factor of this is relatively small, just like the Taipan. I actually like this form factor better than the Taipan. I think it's smaller, easier to carry. It comes with a hard case. Here's a 384 case right here. And it includes a whole bunch of nifty stuff, like you'll have a battery charger, USB-C cable, power adapters, foam separator, 2 18650 batteries, and then you have the super cool and useful, don't lose it, closed cell neoprene foam carry case. I wrapped white tape around this one because I don't want to lose this loaner piece. It's too damn expensive. Yeah, so this is a 640 one, but this is a great way to carry it right here because it provides cushioning. I didn't really float it in the water, but I suspect it would probably float with the unit in it. You're getting a lot for your money, both in performance and accessories with either Sidewinder. Let's go over the menu system as quickly as I can, dudes. Okay, first, in your detection of either a 384 or 640 Sidewinder, it'll be in the sub 20 millikelvin temperature sensitivity range, whatever the hell that means. No, I don't really know what it means either, but I do know this, that I detected heat signatures easily at 300 yards, easily at 500 yards with both of the units. It is better with the 640. Yeah, the detection ranges on these units is insane. It's more than you probably need. You have, by the way, for your palettes of the Sidewinder, and I like how they kind of kept this simple, maybe unlike the FLIR Breach, you have white hot, black hot, fusion, and red hot. Which one do I like best in testing? I don't know if I have a hard and fast answer for you because it really depends on the background. You'll see me cycling through the testing video through the pallets, and some pallets, like perhaps in one situation, black hot makes better sense. In another situation, fusion is the way to go. If I had to stick to one 100% of the time, I would probably go fusion with the Sidewinder. I love the fusion. Okay, super quick on the menus, and I'm going to rip through these. Bear with me, and while I'm talking about it, I'm not going to try to overlay menu video. It's nonsense, but I'll mention the stuff I think is important. You have contrast, brightness, image boost. Did I have that off? I think I left that off, but you could turn it on. Scene mode, you have a jungle setting there. I didn't use that at all. Image calibration, I didn't use that. CVBS, I didn't use that. DPC, didn't use that. Auto power off, I did talk about that. You have a off 30 or 45 minute option. Unit, that's important. So yards versus meters, and there is a way to range find with this thing with a known height object. Dig into the manual. I'm not covering it here. Version, restore language, time sync, OSD. That's on-screen display. That is important. So you can toggle that off and on in the menu. Measure, that's your range estimation. Audio on and off for the video. Hot tracking, that's pretty cool. So it basically has crosshairs on the hottest spot in the field of view. You can toggle that on and off. Then network, yes, these are Wi-Fi compatible units. Whew, so much to talk about, dudes. So much to talk about. Both of these have a 5-year warranty, by the way. That is another cool thing from AGM. They're telling you with a 5-year warranty that we are so confident in our build quality and actually in our sensors too, that they're not going to fry on you. We're going to give you 5 years. Now, I don't mean to say that AGM is the only game in town. There's some other ones like Pulsar that are doing great work, and maybe down the road with a lot of views, I get and review those as well. Who knows? But it just so happens AGM piqued my interest with a Taipan. And so I've gotten some of their units. I'm really advocating, if you want a thermal scope, go with a Rattler, I should say. I have links to all this below to Pro2A Optics Planet. I'm not joking. The Rattler, from my testing so far, it's just like the 640 or the 384. You have the same resolution capabilities, crosshair variations. Legit. Smaller objectives. They are expensive. You get what you pay for. Don't have to tell you, dudes. And that's pretty much a review. What? Nutnfancy? Are you kidding me? You're done? You're done before your 27 minutes. Well, not really, because I was showing you the item and the buttons, I can't really overlay video. What we're going to do now is we're going to end the video with more infield testing. I would like to thank my dear, they're mule deer at my testing location. They're outstanding test partners for thermal imaging. I love my deer. I do not hunt them. I am an animal lover. I'm not an anti-hunter. If you hunt deer, I support you in that. I'm just saying, in my neck of the woods, I prefer to just see them out there doing what they do. Yeah, I actually put food out for them too. I love my deer. You'll see footage of them. And, oh, this is really cool. I'm so glad I remembered. I'm going to show you, I think it was with the 640 unit, the 640 Sidewinder, how I protected 4 yearlings from being attacked by a coyote. I am not exaggerating. I'm not making it up. So I was filming with the 640 Sidewinder, the TM35 640, loving life, going through the pallets, just getting the video for you dudes that you're going to see. And lo and behold, I look out in this field. It's an alfalfa field. And I'm like, I think that's a coyote stalking those deer. It was. Now, would he have taken one of those down? Hard to say. I mean, those deer are fast. If they would have seen him and just took off, I doubt it. But who knows? You know, had he stalked up close enough, he could have taken one down. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, dude, why didn't you just let him take him down? It would have been so cool to film that. And we could have seen like a coyote eating a deer. No, I just couldn't bring myself to do it, dude. I'm an animal lover. I know I love the coyote too. What I did is I whistled loudly and I alerted the deer, and you'll see them bolt off. You're welcome, deer. I saved your friggin' lives. I should have had audio on. I'm sorry I forgot to toggle the audio on for all of my testing video. Not that it's that important, but I did. But I should have done it. But I did save some deer. Yeah. And you're going to see some testing footage of people just walking different ranges in urban environments. I did a trip to Hawaii. That's where I got all that video. Really cool. You can see the palm trees. You can see like some geese next to the trees. Really fun. In the end, you'll probably want to add a Sidewinder to your inventory as well. Now, for my audience members, I will say pace yourselves. If you have a Taipan, don't sell that Taipan. It's still fantastic. These are more capable, more expensive, more special. All the stuff I talked about, better detail, wider field of view. Really impressive, by the way, conversational pieces. I forgot to add that to POU. So if you're just sitting around with some family members, turn out the lights, go to a really dark area in a rural area, and you're going to just blow minds with these devices. They are very, very fun, very special. They're kind of hobbies in and unto themselves. There you go. And then with more testing video, thanks so much to the donors to the Nutnfancy project. If you're a visitor, thanks for watching the video all the way through. Please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. And if you really feel like it, support my work here. I am a completely independent reviewer. Trust my voice. It's not paid off ever, ever, ever. Oh, and before we end, this is a Tops light trucker. Very excellent, excellent lightweight survival knife, tested thoroughly. Oh, I love that knife. Links below, and this is a mini Marauder from Olight, Area Lights, superb light, Hamilton khaki field watches. So fun, so fun. And then my watch today is a Swatch, by the way. Are you man enough to wear a Swatch? I am. I doubt most of you guys are. You would say I never wear a white watch, Nutnfancy. And this is a Mercedes AMG, what is it, a GT3. And we're done. Thanks so much. Enjoy the video. It is impressive. I think for most of you guys, a 384 would do great work for you. If you have the money, I do recommend the 640. See ya.